This is Sybert signing in to Tiberium Wars, but not vanilla Tiberium Wars. This is the mod Tiberium Essence on the map Battle Base. On the left-hand side, as the green screen, this is Kella, aka Flex Big Arms. So we'll have to see what kind of big arm flexing he's going to be doing. On the right side, with the red GDI, this is Goblin 12. Alright, mods are always a point of division, let's just say. Some people really like mods, some people don't particularly like them, and, you know, there are fair reasons for each. Many mods are just kind of big and loud and not very well constructed. They're much more suited for solo play versus AI or versus a small group of people who also already like the mod. They're not like necessarily well designed for interesting multiplayer gameplay. And so sometimes you get mods that are like very turtle based in multiplayer games, and I'm not sure what Tiberium Essence is. I have not played very much Tiberium Essence at all, and I've played a little teensy bit. I did fire up some skirmish, take a look around, and as you'll see, there are some definitely stark differences as harvesters look very different, and although the Skrin harvesters do look the same. So Skrin, you'll notice, probably has the fewest things changed. There are definitely some big changes, especially if we get to see corruptors or planetary assault carriers or devastator warships. You can see a Razorback right there killing off some infantry, and yeah, so I wanted to give some mods a try because I personally like mods, at least sometimes, and I've enjoyed playing many mods over the years. I have enjoyed watching mods in the past, so I figured someone had sent me some mod replays. I would give them a try, and, you know, if it turns out to be a big pile of garbage, then we don't have to take a look at Tib Essence mods anymore. We can instead just go back to the regularly scheduled programming. So as you guys can see, this map, you start on a blue field. You got 2 green fields up top, pretty good size, and 2 green fields on the bottom. Now, I personally, as a kid, always loved making, like, you know, perfectly constructed bases with walls and defenses and all of that kind of stuff. And this mod definitely does allow for that. Fortunately, we are not seeing these guys, like, wall themselves in. They are going for lots of harvesters, lots of eco, which is a good thing to see because it means that we're probably going to be getting to the fun stuff pretty darn soon. And if we get to see some of the big Skrin late-game stuff, they have a teleporting warship that you know, like a flying warship, that kind of thing, that can throw up Ion Storm. Also, a whole bunch of the Skrin units can go over water. They're able to activate like an amphibious mode for reduced speed, but you know, obviously being able to travel over water in some cases would be pretty useful. Now you may be seeing this icon in the bottom right-hand corner, and no, that is not a commando this early in the game. That is just the icon for the basic rifleman squad. Couple of seeker tanks, couple of Razorbacks, I believe. Yeah, gonna be sharking around the map for Kella, looking for some openings. As you can see, the APC is still here, but it's called a Goliath APC. You know, it has basically the same function. You got the single squad, you got the mine drop, all of that kind of stuff. Eco going on in the south, 2 harvesters up there. Oh, by the way, you don't get, at least with GDI, I'm pretty sure it's the same with Skrin, but you don't actually get radar, so your mini-map isn't there until you drop the command post. So a little bit of a difference there. Kind of reminds me of Generals, just, you know, not being able to see. Although, I'm trying to remember, you know, in the earlier Command & Conquer games, it was the same as well. But war factories and refineries getting dropped at the expansions for both of these guys. We are going to be seeing some Titans out on the field. You got a Falcon, and then, which, you know, there is also a Hover MLRS, which is similar looking, but a little bit different. And Lightning Spike is actually a anti-vehicle base defense, not just a support power, so a little bit of a difference there. Seeker Tank's going to be able to deal with this, it looks like, in combination with the Razorbacks and the Lightning Spike, able to take that down. But the Crane did get sniped, so as you can see, the 2 Lightning Spikes there. The Crane did get sniped, and we got some GDI airfields also out on the field. The Orca rig can deploy into a support base, so think of it like a rig, and you know, you can get yourself Oh, I did not actually realize that was a defensive tower over there. A couple of GDI units getting themselves killed by Kella, and it looks like a Titan going to be backing on up. So yeah, you can unpack this Orca into a rig, so just like the name would kind of suggest there. Harvester going to be coming on back, and it looks like Seekers and Razorbacks going to be the name of the game for Kella. Rig does drop down to provide some mobile repairs and also some rockets. As you can see, the animation for rockets is a little bit different. Looks pretty cool as far as I'm concerned, and the Seeker will be able to escape at least for now. Kella pretty much harvesting up this entire field. Corruptor out on the field. So as I said, Corruptor, same name, very different look, and even the attack animation is a bit different as well. So Titan's on the move into the middle of the map for Goblin. He was also able to clean up that Seeker tank or whatever in the north. This Harvester going to have to hightail it out of there before it gets annihilated. And I don't know that this is enough Titans to really stand up against this many Seekers and Razorbacks. Titans getting absolutely shredded as that one Harvester does as well, surviving for a bit longer. EMP going to be firing off, locking down a chunk of those Seeker tanks and Razorbacks. And, of course, there are EMP control centers in the corners of the map. It looks like one of them got sniped as well. And a command post, or a surveyor, rather, going out in the south as well. Decoy Army, I believe, just went down for Scrin, which is a Scrin ability in this particular case. And the Orca Rig doing a pretty good job of shooing away those forces. So, apparently, Orca Rigs pretty darn good considering he's producing them. It looks like maybe 2 at a time, and he's got 3 of them out on the field already. Going to be using them to keep his Harvesters safe, at least for the current moment. And actually, a couple of Harvesters kind of wandering away from the herd. Going to be potentially taking some damage there, as well as in the north. This defensive tower getting a bit of damage on these Harvesters as well. One of them may end up going down. Orca Rigs chasing down Harvesters, not something you see very often as Orcas come in for a bombing run. And another thing that's a little bit different about Tib Essence is the Tier 2, Tier 1.5, whatever you want to call it, Command Post, Nerve Center, Operation Center. They all have pretty basic upgrades that will give a lot of your units just more health. So as you can see, you got light force field generators for the Scrin, and then you got basically the AP ammo equivalent, and then reactive armor, which gives a whole bunch of your mech upgraded health as well. So Nerve Center does end up going down there. And Storm Riders now out on the field. As you can see, Gravity Stabilizer there. Disruptors also up on the field and looking pretty similar to how they do in the base game. Orca Rigs moving into the middle of the map and taking out the Tib Spike of Kella, so he's going to be losing that bit of income. And also, you know, we got the classic looking Tiberium, which is something you probably noticed immediately, and it does look pretty cool, rendered in the CNC3 engine, or that version of the Sage engine. Forward expansion going up here from Kella. He's going to be taking himself a 3rd field. Same thing going on in the south. Vulcan Tower, think of it just the same as a watchtower, although interestingly, when you sell these off, you don't get a rifleman squad for them. So all of you who are planning on, you know, your normal drafting of squads to try and get some units out onto the field, Vulcan Towers are not your friend for that. A lot of Seeker tanks, a couple of Razorbacks, and a Corruptor mixed in. Going to be heading around to the south, or to the backside of this GDI base. Going to be attacking in from the north, and going to be able to catch a couple of Tempest MLRSs. So mobile rocket launchers, basically going to be able to put a little bit of hurt on this army, but there's just way too much scrin here for these units. Support battle base is here as well, which gives just a little bit of extra power to this army. Heading on south is Kella. He wants to engage, I guess, this one power plant, which will go down. The Corruptor gets eliminated, and for now, the Tempest are not too concerned about actually turning around and saving their MCV. One buzzer did end up getting shut down there. Stasis Shield does pop, going to be locking those Tempest in place, and even the Harvester, which drives into it, apparently. Tempest in the south going to be coming in for a bit of defense, as well as an Orca fighter, which, as you can see, able to put the hurt on those Seeker tanks. Tier 3 is fairly similar in concept, but as you can tell, there's also some additional upgrades as well. And some of this stuff is actually banned, So we'll have to see how these guys do. It's banned in the sense of when you play, when these guys play, they decided, you know, hey, there are a handful of things that we're not going to do, and using the GDI Firestorm is one of them. Apparently you can, it's a building, it's a defensive structure that you can deploy, and then you can activate a Firestorm, which will basically insta-kill any bad units or structures inside of it. And for like $2,000, and you resets like every 3 minutes. And then it, of course, also protects everything inside of it from being attacked. Annihilators out on the field, so similar to tripods, but very different in their look. So the big guns starting to come out here for Kella. He's got those lightning spikes back at his main base, keeping it safe even though they're powered down, and could maybe just sell those off. Storm Riders clean up an Orca rig, and Firehawks going to be able to clear the skies. Almost. 2 Storm Riders do still survive, and 1 Firehawk may go down. It looks like it barely will escape. You can also get Orca Bombers, which are kind of a combination of the Sentry Bomber from Red Alert 3 and a Firehawk. So they basically drop Firehawk bombs, but in a straight line, in a bombing run sort of way. Disruptor also out on the field. Apparently it's pretty good at wasting descents, and you know, a couple of descents going to be getting a couple of kills there, but now they're going to be stepping into a bunch of GDI forces, and I assume Harvesters in combination with the other stuff that's here will be able to deal with this. Sonic Emitter also out on the field using the same kind of attack as the Disruptor, and will be brought online and then brought back offline by that low power mode. More Annihilators out on the field. Tiberium Enhancement. So yeah, as you can see, pretty much all of the units have some kind of like just base stat boost where maximum health goes up and attack damage goes up as well. Unlike Tib Wars, where you have more specific, I guess comp armor is probably close to that, but you have more specific attack-based stuff like laser capacitors or rail guns where it actually changes the weapon a little bit instead of just giving a boost. Another Orca rig going to be potentially going down as descents come in here for Kella. And I'm kind of sad that we haven't seen the big GDI Mammoth, none of the big GDI stuff. Although, we do have an Orbital Deployment Center, which only constructs one thing. So think of it kind of like Marv Reclamator Hub or a Redeemer Engineering Facility, any of those things. MCV just gets absolutely wasted there. But instead of being able to build normal War Factory units and the Marv, this can only build the Super Heavy, which is like the Mammoth Mark whatever, that we're about to see in just a couple of moments there, and then that itself has a couple of upgrades that you can get for it. So as you can see, deploys right there, Mammoth Walker Mark II, and then you can get anti-air and disc launcher turret upgrade. So in this case, disc launchers, those of you who may remember, may know what disc launchers guys are, but for those of you who are a little more familiar with just CNC3, think of them as Grenadiers, and that is exactly what they are, except they look a very little bit different. A lot of Annihilators out on the field for Kella. Something going down up there. A couple of anti-air turrets going to be going up as well. And Kodiak 2 is also here. Going to be able to do a little bit of damage to this force, and then Firehawks coming in and force them, it looks like EMP bomb. Not something you're used to seeing very often. Even the Annihilator is going to be getting tagged with those EMPs, so the Kodiak can try and finish them off. And goodbye, Kodiak. That just hopped on out of there, and he's going to be going to get some repairs. I did not actually use the Kodiak when I launched the skirmish, so I didn't get to see that. Mammoth Mark II going to be walking in, and this is Orbital Bombardment combined with EMP, with Shockwave Artillery. So as you can see, it kind of drops from the sky like an Orbital Bombardment, but it really just EMPs stuff. Support powers are pretty different. There are, you know, some that are very similar, like Zone Raider is going to be able to get dropped in here, but there are a number of things that are different about the support powers as well. And even the attack animation from the Zone Raiders, as you can see, is quite a bit different. Mammoths, the Firehawks, and the Kodiak all going to be getting in on this action. Phase activates to save these 2 Annihilators and keep them from going down, while on the left side, the Mammoth Mark II gets wasted by Kella's army, and he is marching on forward. Another Mammoth Mark II on the way, it looks like, but this base on the left side may be forfeit if Goblin is unable to find something to stop this big army from Kella. Even the drone ship going to be deploying here just for an extra bit of static D to go down and try and stop this, stop any reinforcements from helping out this base. Orbital drop did get destroyed, as well as these refineries as well. Firehawk's going to be coming in. They do EMP some of these Annihilators, and they are going to go down there, so they're sacrificing themselves to try and lock down these units. EMP everything as missile fires off there. I thought that was for a second I thought that was going to be the Tib chemical missile that the GDI has. Firehawks coming in for another bombing run, locking down more of these Annihilators, giving the Kodiak time to respond, as Mammoth tanks also going to be showing up to try and deal with this army. This is so many lasers coming out from Flex Big Arm, as Goblin trying to find something to deal with this army. For now, Kella standing relatively strong. He is going to be pulling back a little bit here. He's got a bunch of buildings that he ended up not really using. And for now, Tempest may end up... No, it doesn't go down. It did turn around with a big old turn radius there, but it did not go down. More Annihilators going to be stepping on down for Kella. In the south, it looks like, is where the big face-off is going to be. War Factory back home, MCV heading back up to the high ground, and the Tempest is going to be going for the kill on that Harvester in combination with that Firehawk. From the high ground, the Kodiak firing off, trying to thin the herd a little bit here so the Mammoths can actually stand against this attack. Disruptor getting pulled back from the front line as these Mammoths tank huge damage from this incoming Skrin army. Kodiak gets pulled back as well for repairs, and Kella is just stomping all over everything that Goblin has. One big army push may be enough to knock Goblin out of this game. Disruptors, or Sonic Emitter rather, going to be getting some nice shots off on those Shock Troopers, and they actually are still called Shock Troopers. That's one of the few things that did stay the same. The Mammoth tanks have all but evaporated as Kella marches on forward. Single Tempest in the north I don't think is going to be enough to stop this army from stomping all over this base. Kella able to eliminate the expansion in the south. The Kodiak has run away into the corner of the map, a la StarCraft 2, you know, hiding some floating buildings over there or something like that. But it looks like Kella is going to be able to wrap this up relatively soon. We do have a couple of rocket troopers going to be coming on out for our GDI player, Goblin 12. He's going to have to amass a lot of rocket troopers to be able to stop this much Skrin armor. Even a potentially fresh expansion in the south for Kella to go ahead and grab that. Shock troopers on the front line, Annihilators backing them up with their big green lasers, wasting pretty much everything. And the Kodiak 2 shows up to do what it can, but this is so much Skrin firepower that it just needs to kill this last structure to win the game. Kodiak does go down, and Goblin 12 has been defeated for our first Tib Essence game. Definitely some interesting units, and fun to see the same old stuff, or some of the same old stuff, repackaged in a brand new way. And if you have other cool mod replays, definitely throw them my way. It will not be a regular thing, or it will not be a common thing, but who knows? Every once in a while, jumping into a mod, checking out some different games, I am okay with that, because it's cool when people actually take the time to put this much effort into something, and then other people actually play it and enjoy it. So if you want to check out Tib Essence, There's a link in the description. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you to these guys for playing. And this is Sybert, signing out.